In this video, we're gonna find out, is the Ford F-150 King Ranch worth $75,000 plus? Now, the King Ranch, in my mind, has always represented a vehicle which is adorned with features, but still a vehicle attainable to the average working man. If you work long enough and hard enough over enough years, you could afford a King Ranch. But as we go into 2022, into 2023, I mean, the new trucks are $70,000, $75,000, $80,000 plus with a lot of options. So we're gonna find out, now that these trucks are so expensive, are they still worth it? This F-150 is equipped with the Power Boost hybrid system. So we've got a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 mated to a hybrid system. So it's got a battery kind of toward the rear of the vehicle, and then it's like a Prius where it'll operate at low speeds on electricity only, and then it'll shut the engine off under most idle situations, just run on the high voltage system. Now, when people think hybrids, I think the main advantage is fuel economy. And yes, the hybrid system does deliver a slight fuel economy bump over the standard twin turbo V6, but I wouldn't buy an F-150 Power Boost for that reason. I'd buy it for one of two. The first reason is the insane acceleration. So this vehicle has a 10-speed automatic transmission and 430 horsepower with nearly 600 pound-feet of torque. And that hybrid system, it really is quick to respond because you've got that instantaneous torque of the electrical architecture, so that when you plant it, you just go woof, shooting off down into the horizon. That really is one of the biggest advantages of the hybrid. It's just the crazy torque. And then, like I said, that slight bump in fuel economy is nice, but the other main reason I'd buy the hybrid is because of the inverter system. Pro-powered onboard with the optional 7.2 kilowatt inverter. You can turn it on and, of course, have access to power within the truck, but also power from the bed. And we have actually two different circuits, each rated at 3,600 watts. And it really is a nice feature. If you live in Texas, if you're aware of those crazy blackouts that we got a couple years back, this system was a lifesaver for a lot of folks. There is so much tech in the bed of these new F-150s, it'll blow your mind. Of course, we do have power down tailgates, but we even have power up tailgates as well. Double click a button on the key, completely hands-free to lift the tailgate. But that is just where the coolness begins. Now, of course, you can also just grab the little button down there and it will lower a little bit more quickly. And then check this out. Lots and lots and lots of crazy stuff for the DIYers. So you've got measuring devices back here. You've got little places for cups and for implements. You've got a little phone holder for the inevitable YouTube video you need to watch. On the sides, we have bottle openers, but really these are tie-down points for longer items. And then, of course, you've got the step, which folds down like that. This has been a Ford icon for quite a number of years now. I mean, it really is absurd how much tech has just gone into the tailgate alone, let alone the rest of the bed. Now, this one is equipped with the bed liner, and we've got tie downs on the top portion of the bed sides. We've got integrated ones a little bit further down. We've got lighting back here, and then this is the pièce de résistance. We've got the full 7.2 kilowatts worth of power accessible via the bed. When it comes to a camping rig, it really doesn't get much better than the F-150. Another very handy feature in this Ford, zone lighting. I really do like this feature. So if you're out at a campsite, if you're out at a work site, you can turn on various zones to illuminate stuff that you're trying to see. So of course, headlights, but there's also lights in the mirrors on the side of the truck. There are lights in the rear. So you have access to everything you need when you need to see it at night. Now, from a ride and handling standpoint, Ford has done a ton of work to make this the quietest, most refined F-150 ever, and certainly it is very quiet, but there is no getting around the fact that this is still a full-size truck that's built to tow well over 10,000 pounds, right? So the ride is certainly a little bit more stiff than you'd come to expect in a luxury SUV. But apart from that, it's got everything else a luxury SUV would have. Leather everywhere, heated seats, heated steering wheel, it's got adaptive cruise, it's got lane centering, it's got the latest in Ford autonomous technology called Blue Cruise as well. So it's really becoming more of a, a level 2 semi-autonomous system on the highway than a lot of other vehicles in this class. So if you want the ultimate road tripper in a full-size truck, the F-150 with Blue Cruise is probably it. The King Ranch certainly has a unique look to it. This dual tone, this antimatter blue against this almost bronzy gray, certainly a unique look. And then we come to these wheels. Now, this wheel to me looks very similar to like a wheel you'd find on an early 2000s Jeep Grand Cherokee WJ. This kind of bronzy snowflake wheel, I just can't get that out of my head, but they certainly look cool. And if you want other wheel options on your F-150 King Ranch, those are certainly available. Now, of course, this truck does come equipped with keyless entry, so key in my pocket, gently touch the door handle, and the running boards deploy as the vehicle unlocks. And then, of course, you can use them to step on in. When you go and lock the truck, they, of course, glide back in. The seats on this King Ranch certainly have gotten a little bit intricate in the number of ways they can be adjusted. Now, this seat design is brown on brown with brown piping and a slightly different brown stitching. So if you like brown, this King Ranch is certainly going to be the truck for you, but check out all the adjustments. So of course you do have power forward and backward. You also have power lumbar and power recline, but there's even a separate section for your upper back. So you can fold this little cushion and then it kind of ratchets into place. So if you want your upper back at a different position than your lower back, you can do that. And this one also has the max recline package on the seat. So if I push the recline button all the way back, it'll of course glide into a rearmost position, but then watch what happens to the bottom cushion as it starts to get closer to a flat plane. That'll actually rise, and if you keep pushing for long enough, you can actually recline the seats all the way down into a little mini bed. So if you are on the road a lot, you want to get the most out of your sleeping capability, the F-150 with the max recline is certainly the truck for you. Now, the King Ranch logo, of course, is embossed pretty much everywhere throughout the interior, as is the established 1853. I haven't noticed that in previous King Ranch trucks, but you do see it down here on the console. You see it in the headrest. You really see it throughout, but lots of kind of fun gadgets and gizmos throughout the interior of the King Ranch. Now, we do have a console-mounted shifter. Once again, this is a nice touch wrapped in that brown leather with brown stitching. Now, this is probably pretty well known at this point, but you can push a button while you're in park, and that shifter will glide down into this little cubby, and then the whole center console folds out for a little work platform right here. This truck has been out for quite a while now, and I'd love to know in the comment section below, for those of you that own this feature, is this something you actually use, or is this just more of a gimmick? But regardless, it is a pretty fun thing to show your friends. Now, a relatively old school feature that you see throughout this F-150 interior, the use of wood. Now, it is a nice wood compared to some of the previous King Ranches I've been in, especially from the early 2000s. This is miles better. Now, underneath this particular cubby, you'll find your wireless charger, and it is in a quite good location. So, for example, if you're navigating on Google Maps, you can put that down there and still have access to your screen. Of course, a better way to navigate via Google Maps is through the integrated CarPlay on the 12-inch screen, and this system just keeps getting better and better. The latest generation of Sync system really is fast, easy to use, and very easy to understand. I also like these side panels, which are completely customizable and configurable. Very good system overall, and just quick, snappy, and to the point. This fully digital gauge cluster really is fantastic, and it tells you so much important information. Of course, you can have water temperature, trans temp, that kind of thing, but lots and lots and lots of truck info. You can, of course, see tire pressures and that kind of thing, but there's also like off-road pages, which really get into all the nitty-gritty of what's going on in and around the truck. You can, of course, change your radio station, and it tells you all that information in here. And my favorite part are the animations when you go between the different modes. Now, we do have a number of modes in this truck, ranging from sport to eco to tow haul, a standard normal mode. There's a slippery and wet conditions. There's a deep snow and sand, and then mud and ruts as well. So lots of different great drive modes. Now, another feature which is very forward thinking by the Ford team are the onboard scales. So you can actually see relative to the payload capacity how heavy you are loading up the vehicle, and it will give you little warnings in the tail lights to let you know when you're nearing full. So tons of features to keep you nice and warm and cool in the summertime in the F-150. Now, of course, you do have dual zone automatic climate control with these little digital readouts in the middle of the knobs, but beyond that, of course, heated steering wheel, heated seats, and ventilated seats, some of the best in the industry. In the F-150 King Ranch, of course, not only do the front passengers have tons of space, but so do the rear. I mean, it's just acres and acres and acres of space, completely flat floor as well. If I had one complaint, the floor is a little bit high, so for taller passengers, you don't end up with a lot of thigh support because your knees do stick up pretty high, but lots of features, like check this out. Heated rear seats, you've got, your little round power outlets, as well as 120 volt outlets down there, rated at 20 amps, and then charging there as well. So lots of connectivity, accessibility in the rear seats as well, along with the full panoramic sunroof. But that's just where the fun begins, because seats fold up, and now we've got a huge area if you've got dogs or big items you want to keep secure. And then on the floor, you actually have this handy little bin, which is configurable, so you can lift it up, lock it into place so it doesn't move. Oh, and then when you're done storing your jumper cables or whatever you want back here, be great for plants too. You can just fold it down and then lock it into place like that. So the Ford F-150 Power Boost King Ranch, is it worth $70,000+? Well, I still have a hard time getting myself around that number, considering, it wasn't long ago where you could buy most of a house, if not a whole house, for the price of this truck in a lot of areas. But unfortunately, with the way that things are going in this world, $60,000 really is the norm now for full-size trucks, and 70+ grand not out of the question. And when you consider all of the crazy gadgets you get in here designed to make your life better, specifically the hybrid system, the onboard power, and some of the cool zone lighting things, I think for a lot of folks, it probably is worth it. Now let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, this has been Tommy with TFLtruck.com. Check out TFL Studios, our new website, where we have all of our stuff in one convenient location.